you can count on. KOAT Action 7 News More in the Morning starts right now.
Well, crime has been a big issue in Albuquerque. Now APD says murders have gone down. A look at where the numbers are from 2023. Plus, exchanging guns for gift cards. The events happening across the state and how you can be a part of it. Also, the Inflation Reduction Act aiming to make investments in multiple areas across the U.S., but some New Mexico Republicans are against it. The key issue, they say, is not being addressed by the law. Meanwhile, we are keeping an eye on the winter weather here in our state. Here is a live look right now from Angel Fire this morning. Beautiful right there. Now, most of our state could see another round of snow this weekend, and that is the big story today. You've been tracking it all morning long on this. You've been staying pretty busy, so we love that for you.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah,
I bet you do.
Working.
Yeah, we've been running around trying to get the latest information out to you guys because, yeah, it's a busy weather week. Again, it's the first week of the year, and this is the way we're kicking things off. So here's where that snow is right now across areas of eastern New Mexico. This is because of a disturbance that moved into the state across northern New Mexico last night, and now it should be tapering off within the next couple of hours or so. So travel along I-40 between Santa Rosa and Tucumcari is slick out there, folks. A lot of snow on those roadways, and we saw heavier snow bands push into areas like Clovis and Portales. I think within the next hour or next 2 hours, we should start to see a lot of these snow showers begin to taper off. But for now, those roadways are pretty slick, especially between Fort Sumner and Clovis. We just got a message from the National Weather Service saying that US 60 is looking a little dicey right now. So here's those road conditions right now. The blue is those icy and snow-covered roadways. The green is just the wet stuff right now. And that continues into I-25 between Santa Fe and Las Vegas. So we put Future Track Planner into motion across the entire state, and by 12 o'clock, we start to see those blue blops begin to dissipate and taper off, which means, of course, clear conditions by this afternoon. By 2 o'clock, we should be left with a little bit more sunshine in across areas of eastern New Mexico and, of course, central and southwestern New Mexico. Cloud cover does increase across the northwest half of the state tonight because we are tracking an even more strong and powerful storm system that's set to arrive here. It's going to allow for strong gusty winds and colder temperatures and, of course, way more snow. We'll break down those details coming up.
All right, thanks, Andres. Well, the wintry conditions are causing issues on some of the roads. Sky 7 actually flew over what looked like a semi-truck just veering off the side of the road, and you can see it right here. This was on I-40 near Gallup. The highway was closed for several hours, but I-40 would later reopen. No word on any injuries right now. Well, in the meantime, other roads across our states are still being affected by all this cold weather. Here's a look right now at NM Roads map. Now, we are seeing more yellow icons in the eastern New Mexico area around Klein's Corner and Las Vegas. That means difficult driving. Also, a lot of green icons covering the East Mountains, Taos, and Raton. Roads can be wet in these areas. If you have to be on the road this weekend, just be sure to be extra cautious. Remember, you can check the latest weather conditions where you live online and on that free KOAT app. It's about 8:03 right now. Albuquerque police say they are seeing progress in its ongoing efforts to bring down the number of murders. According to APD, 97 people died in 2023. That is a big drop from 123 victims in the previous year. So far, the department has closed 84 homicide cases. 53 of those are from last year, and the rest were from past years. The department's now crediting a handful of reasons for the drop in numbers, including officers being more proactive, new technology, and adding more detectives to its homicide unit. Now, even though homicide numbers are going down, more people are still on alert. Reporter Alyssa Minos tells us what justifiable homicides look like in 2023.
It's important to note that throughout the last few years, justifiable homicides have gone up and down, but just this past year, the numbers have increased.
We have individuals armed during simple conflict that weren't armed in the past.
During an APD press conference, Chief Medina says within the last year there have been 16 justifiable homicide investigations.
The more and more armed individuals we have in the community, when one individual goes to do something they shouldn't be doing and the other person has the immediate access to a firearm, we're going to see these types of incidents.
Retired APD commander says there's reasons people are feeling less protected and feel the need to arm themselves.
The more violent felons that you have that are on the streets, that are not incarcerated, where, they have the ability to be rehabilitated, the more likelihood you're going to have of an average citizen finding themselves in direct harm's way and being forced to take action to save a loved one or save themselves.
The main question is who decides if it's justified. According to APD, they investigate every incident, but it's ultimately not up to them to decide.
The DA's office actually reviews and has final say-so in all cases before it is deemed as justified homicide, and it is not an APD decision.
According to the DA's office, most justifiable homicides are self-defense. A prosecutor will review what case APD has sent over and see if there's a real defense, and if not, they'll pursue charges. Justifiable homicides also include officer-involved shootings.
This should not need to be something that's on the rise. Violent felons in possession of firearms needs to be on the decline. And if you remove that from the equation, these things will start to solve themselves.
And just this past year, there were 14 officer-involved shootings, and 12 of those suspects were armed. APD says that they plan to address this next week. Reporting in Albuquerque, Alyssa Munoz, KOAT Action 7 News.
Alyssa, thank you. And right now, you have the chance to surrender guns for gift cards. State police are holding multiple gun buyback events in Albuquerque, Farmington, Española, and Las Cruces. The one in Albuquerque will be at Expo, New Mexico. All 4 events run until 2. We have a full list of locations on our website. U.S. Senator Martin Heinrich showing his support for the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. He talked about the investments from the legislation while meeting with New Mexicans at the Santa Fe Community College just yesterday. Now, the law will invest millions of dollars towards climate change and improving health care. However, some New Mexico Republicans say the law does not tackle inflation in the U.S.
Might be reducing inflation in China. That's where a lot of the money went. But it's not reducing inflation here.
Now, the law would also tax corporations a minimum of 15%, along with offering tax credits for homes and businesses. Well, if you've been enjoying the cold weather lately, hey, listen up here. Today, you can take a cold dip in the Albuquerque Polar Plunge. Of course, it will be hot chocolate available afterwards. Those that want to brave the cold weather will have to pay about $40 or maybe even $50 if you want to use the slide instead. The money will go to a scholarship for swimming lessons. It is this morning at 10 at the Sierra Vista West Tennis Complex and Pool. That's on Montano in Northwest Albuquerque. 8:07 this Saturday morning, local landlords getting some help from the state. The new program just launched this past week and what the city hopes to accomplish with it. Also,
looking back on the January 6th attack, I'm Jackie DeFusco in Washington with the fallout 3 years later.